Hey folks, Pirate Tiger here. It's not your fault, you didn't miss anything. I hit the wrong button. I didn't record. I didn't record that. Oh god, you're thinking, oh my god, I've missed 15 days of the game. What's happened? You kind of. We spent 14 of those days stuck in bloody Yokohama because I didn't have enough money to get across the ocean. And quite honestly, almost nothing happened. We slept rough a few nights because I didn't want to spend the money on hotels all the time. And then occasionally we'd pop into the hotel for a night to pick up Mr Fogg, get his spirits up again. You've missed literally nothing. And then we boarded this ship, which is apparently it's a ship that can submerge. It can be submerged. It's a submersible ship. Anyway, and we are now on like day 2 or something of our crossing, and you missed nothing. I'm so sorry. Anyway, moving on. I'm just checking the news, and I've had a quick conversation with the captain who told me all sorts of things about trade between different American cities, and told me nothing about how to get from San Francisco to San Pedro, which is really all I care about because I've got virtually an entire suitcase full of stuff that will sell for a mint in San Pedro. But apparently that's not going to happen because nobody can tell me how to get there. So, carrying on, hey. The news is, there's some jewel thief called the Black Rose in France that's eluding detectives. But I don't care. Apparently, we're under suspicion of being thieves, by the way, according to the book. We've managed to entirely skip that whole storyline. There was a big bank robbery committed presumably by a gentleman in London the day before we left on our jaunt around the world. And so we're under heavy suspicion, and there's like a freelance detective trying to chase us down, a chap called Fix, who we were supposed to sort of be crossing the Indian Ocean with, but that's not going to happen. Don't worry about it. Because the script writing, well done again, Meg Giant, has been wonderful. We've got all sorts of other plot lines going on. I accompanied Mr Fogg to a game of whist. Oh my gosh, we play whist, it turns out. With a family of American missionaries who were travelling back to San Francisco for a family wedding. My master began strongly, but Mademoiselle Loretta, the eldest girl, had a sharp eye and won several hands in a row. A new round was dealt. I noticed Mademoiselle Loretta had unfashionably wide sleeves. We could notice her smile triumphantly, but we could notice that she's cheating scumlord. Though the rest of her dress was in the latest style. I was squinting closely at her ivory lace trim when I saw her slip a card up her sleeve. Oh, you dog! You cad! You scoundrel! The minister's daughter was a cheat. Some missionary, and a skilled one at that. I filed away the knowledge for an opportune moment, catching her eye to convey that I had noticed her little sleight of hand. She blushed with all the manufactured prettiness of an accomplished actress, then raised one eyebrow in silent challenge. Well, this is a story that will last a Pacific crossing, isn't it? Our journey continued on. I say. Oh, let's check the news, shall we? Oh, missed it. I spent today in the company of the Water Lily submariners. They were all hardy men and women who preferred the dim, enclosed spaces of the hold to the top deck. Too much sky, one of them said, squinting suspiciously. Her crewmate nodded. All that fresh air. They shuddered collectively and suggested a bracing race to the boiler room. Ooh, an alternative? I could try to keep up, or I could offer an alternative. Or I could tell them that I had met the ship's owner on the Trans-Siberian Express. Well, that's interesting, because it's, that means that we had to take that route to get this option. Which, I mean, this is a unique opportunity. We could have taken any route to get here and not met the chap, so I want to see what secrets this holds. And he had, in particular, commented on the skill of the submarine crew. For salty types, they were easily flattered. Oh, Passepartout, you polished gentleman, you. Not that revealed anything. Oh, damn it. Let us converse once more with... Greetings, mademoiselle. Who are we chatting with? I've no idea. Passepartout! Why, hello. Tell me, please, about San Francisco. I hear the Americans are still recovering from their civil war. They say that the San Francisco is one of the most advanced American cities. I don't know why I've given her that voice. Just deal with it. I'm sorry. Las Vegas. That's in the right direction, at least. Is it possible to go from San Francisco to Las Vegas? I would not hold out too much hope, monsieur. Now tell me, are all Frenchmen like you? Fear not, mademoiselle. A singular article. Oh my gosh! I should breathe a sigh of relief. What a cow! Fine. Fine. San Francisco, San Pedro. That's what we need. Okay. I have heard there are many Chinese immigrants in San Francisco. The American government is forcing the Native Americans onto reservations. I declare. Oh, this is Loretta. This is Loretta. No wonder she doesn't like us. We know her secret. Is it possible to travel from San Francisco to San Pedro? I believe so. You can get to San Pedro from San Francisco by fishing boat, but the journey is a tiring one. Well, tiring it may be, it's also lucrative. Tell me more. Do tell me more about San Pedro. I wouldn't be surprised if some buyers will pay well for oil paints from San Pedro. But we're going to sell oil paints in San Pedro. Oh, whatever. You make no sense. So we've got to go by fishing boat, it seems, if we want to get down there. That does not sound great. I'm entirely honest. But it's better than nothing. It means we can get there. I was climbing the rigging. As exercise, of course. And not at all for the purposes of spying on the crew to appease my own rapacious curiosity, when I heard two of the crewmen arguing in a pidgin mix of English and Japanese. Japanglish. I could close my eyes and listen, or I can move forwardly away, or I could peer upwards. Let's listen. I closed my eyes and listened to their voices. Only a few words were audible over the howling of the wind. Shrine, heathen, worship. Before a sudden scream rent the air. One of the sailors was falling from the platform's edge. I should have looked. I was unable to look away as he fell. His body lay still and crumpled on the deck, but I heard his scream in my head for days after. I looked up and managed to catch sight of the fallen sailor's companion, his face still and pallid. Was that guilt in his eyes, or merely shock? He slipped away before the captain arrived. And I followed him. He retired to the crew quarters, and I began to hear the sound of desperate, muttered prayers. What in the blue buggery is going on this submersible ship? What is going on? Too much is going on, that's what. Greetings, Reverend. Passepartout, good day to you. Let's talk about San Pedro, please. I've been told you can get to San Pedro from San Francisco by fishing boat, but the journey is a tiring one. You mentioned boats. I've been told one can sail aboard the trading vessel from Miami to Havana. Well, I never. Why on earth would I do that? Have some snuff. There you go. Thank you. Now, let's talk about San Pedro, please. You might be interested that you can obtain revolvers in San Pedro, extremely valuable in New Orleans. That is interesting. Now, how do I get to... No, I don't want to go... Do I want to go? Oh, hang on. We could go San Pedro and then all the way around to Port Royal by boat. I don't... Acapulco is... That's Mexico, isn't it? Houston... Not so useful. Unless... Well, maybe it is, actually. We could cross to Houston. And then... Yeah, let's get to Houston. Is there a route from San Pedro to Houston? How would I know? Only the quickest way to Houston from here is to go via San Pedro. What? That's... You're drunk. Or you can't handle your snuff, or something. Fine. Tell me about how to get to... Not Pitcairn Island. We're not going all the way down there. Yeah, tell me about how to get to Port Royal. Did you realise that the quickest way to Port Royal from here is through Houston? Listen, you tit. That's what I was just trying to... Oh, useless man. Okay. Havana to Miami. Well, how delightful, but I don't care. And steaming along, the Water Lily's crew held a funeral for the dead sailor. I was not specifically invited, but... Yes, was curious about the incident. The funeral was an excellent opportunity to learn more about the crew. Captain Wicker led the Christian service with customary grimness. I was surprised by the absence of the sailor's companion, who had been arguing with him just before his fall. Yet he was not the only one missing from the funeral. Oddly, only half the crew had come to pay their respects. I went in search of the rest, only to find them making an offering in front of a makeshift Shinto shrine in the crew quarters. The fellow from the night before was amongst them. Good grief. The captain doesn't want us at his Christian ceremonies. He thinks nothing of our faith, one of the sailors told me bitterly. We make our offerings here instead. Oh, well, that's sad. Slightly less sinister than it was, but still kind of sad. Okay. Oop. Too late to converse. Oh yeah, time's ticking on. Storm. Ooh, sugar. Too exhausted to write a proper entry. Suffice to say, we are still afloat. As we settled down for the night, Mr Fogg remarks that we should have gone underwater to avoid the roughness of the storm. Just saying. We have gained ourselves a day, Passepartout. We have crossed the date line. My master was, of course, correct. Isn't that interesting? We've sailed from west to east across the date line and gained a day. And I know I mentioned right at the start of this playthrough that there was a cartoon made of, very closely based on this, on the book Around the World in 80 Days, except it was called Around the World with Willie Fogg, I believe, not Phileas Fogg. And the protagonist wasn't called Passepartout, he was something else beginning with R. And of course it was all, sort of sanitized for children and such. And I seem to recall that they made the trip in it took them 81 days. But the big conclusion at the end was, oh no, it took us 81 days, we didn't quite make it. And then the next day there's the whole party, because they'd completely forgotten that they had that extra day, because they crossed the international date line. So it was a success in the end. So well done. Oh, spoilers. So, my master was, of course, correct. We had reached the point directly opposite Greenwich. Imagine what might have transpired had we forgotten. Well, quite. Which, of course, I believe I did. I can't remember the end of the book. This is embarrassing. I remember bits and pieces of it, but I don't. I should probably reread it. I really should. It's only 150 pages. Go out and find it. It's free because it's public domain. It's an old book. Find it's called Around the World in 80 Days, not 80 Days Around the World, by Jules Verne, and it's a great book, really fantastic, sort of boys' own adventure type stuff. The bit where they rescue the princess in the jungle of India, that's awesome. Anyway, we'd reached the point directly opposite Greenwich, imagine what, yes, where the hours we had lost in travelling around the Earth were added back. A whole extra day! And we're only 3/4 of the way through our time limit. I don't think we're going to do it, honestly, folks. Oh well. Still, well done us. Let us converse with someone. With an engineer. Greetings, Commander Davis. Monsieur Passepartout, yes? Yes, indeed. Let us talk more about San Pedro. I've been told you can blah blah blah. On the subject of boats, I've heard you can get to Port Royal from Port-au-Prince aboard the Hispaniola. Okay. Kev some vodka. Commander Davis, I'm sure you don't mind if you do. Tell me more about San Pedro. So, some buyers will pay well for oil paints from San Pedro. Care for a cigar? This is going very well. Alright, let's talk about Port Royal. So, some buyers will pay well for amethyst from Port Royal. That is also interesting. Port Royal could possibly take us across to Dakar, but that's a bit of a roundabout trip again. Maybe... yeah, fine. Tell us about Dakar. See if I can. Never mind that. Some buyers will pay well for oil paints from Dakar. Okay, look, I'm kind of losing patience. Oh, Asuncion. Yeah, sure. Tell us about that. Talk a lot, don't you? Yeah, well, I was trying to get the conversation to go somewhere useful, but never mind. So, Port-au-Prince to Port Royal. Yes, known, understood. Not very useful. Fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yesterday's storm hit us with little warning. One moment I was adding a ribbon trim to one of my shirt sleeves. The next we were being tossed from one end of the cabin to the other. We were only lucky that the bed was securely nailed to the floor. The ship shuddered and moaned as the seas flickered with lightning. The storm lasted nearly 6 hours and blew us far, of course. The captain spent most of the day peering at his charts, trying to locate our position. There is no land anywhere upon the horizon. Day 60, Mr Fogg murmured that night in his sleep. And still some distance yet to travel. Yes, yes, you are correct, and I'm sorry. Oh my god, we've gone right off course. Well, sugar. The captain announced a change of destination. The Water Lily would now make for nearby Hawaii, rather than San Francisco. Well, shit. We would make port in Honolulu in 5 days, and would have to find our own further conveyance from there. We paid $4,000 for this. You only had to go under the water. There's sodding Alaska right there. What were you thinking? Mr Fogg's and my own lips pressed ever so slightly together. Not the two of us. I mean, separately. I mean, you can read that slash fiction elsewhere, I'm sure. A rare outward sign of entirely understandable annoyance. This, my master said, will not do. Indeed not, sir, I agreed, not even daring to calculate the delay and expense our unexpected diversion would cause. Oh my god, it's getting worse and worse. Monsieur Fogg gave me a cool, appraising glance. Captain Wicker has reneged upon his word as a gentleman, he said curtly, before lowering his voice to an almost furtive undertone. Our course is clear. We must mutiny. I opened my mouth to agree, absolutely, but he continued on without so much as a pause. See to it, Passepartout. Use your... I'm fairly charming. I am. But I have a lot of initiative as well. I'm going to use my natural charm, I think. Natural charm? I interjected brightly. Quite, he said, with the agreeableness of a gentleman who has just given his valet a near Herculean task. We will mutiny in 5 days when we reach Honolulu. Make your preparations as you see fit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let's read the news. Police hunt card sharp known as the Reverend's daughter. last seen in Yokohama. I think we know a thing or two about that. Guys, I don't know if you spotted that, but we're about to mutiny. Join me next time. The mutiny! Or do I mean... Bye!